Champion Breweries PLC primarily engaged in the brewing, packaging, and marketing of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, was originally incorporated as Southeast Breweries Limited in Cross River State in 1974. I think they deserve a round of applause. 50 years, it's a long time indeed. After undergoing a series of name changes, the company adopted Champion Breweries PLC in September 1992 and became publicly listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange on the 1st of September 1993, where it has remained a leader in its sector. The consumer goods sector has a significant presence on the NGX, with 21 listed companies, including 5 in beverage industry. Between 2020 and 2024, this sector generated 887 billion naira in traded value, accounting for 13% of the 7 trillion traded across all sectors. NGS continues to support the beverage sector by providing a robust platform for capital raising, liquidity through equity listings, bonds, and other asset classes, enabling companies to secure the capital necessary for growth. In 2024 alone, 2 of the listed companies embarked on raising substantial capital on the exchange, totaling 1.18 trillion, which underscores our commitment to facilitating strategic expansion.
It's important we recognize that Nigeria still remains the largest market for alcohol consumption in Africa, with beer and spirits becoming one of the most consumed alcoholic beverages. So in spite of the fact that we have this very tough economic context, we still have very positive outlook. The core addressable population in Nigeria still remains one of the highest in Africa, in spite of the fact that, our household income growth, may be lower, for example, compared to countries like Ethiopia. But in terms of the core addressable population that we serve our products, it remains one of the largest. And when you look at also the beer industry, and also in terms of both beer and spirits, we still see very significant growth. Between 2019 and 2023, the beer industry has grown by 3.1%. The compounded annual growth rate is 3.1%. That of spirits is 3.7%. So the outlook is positive. Now, despite the challenging operating conditions, food and beverages remain key essential commodities in Nigeria. And you will see that from this particular graph in terms of the percent of expenditure on food and beverages consumed at home in Nigerian homes. In spite of the fact that our total food and beverage expenditure per person is lower compared to countries like that of like the US, yet the percent of expenditure on food and beverages consumed at home remains very high at 59%. What is the implication of this? We can implement moderate price increases without losing demand. That's one of the implications. And the steep demand continues in spite of low consumption expenditure per capita, and then gains from scale of economies as capacity expands. And then we also see opportunities to consolidate our market share. So that is the kind of outlook that we see in the industry.
As you can see, our performance in 2023, we grew revenue by 3.3%. That is 12.7 billion versus 12.3 billion in the previous years. My MD has just mentioned what we went through in 2023 in terms of the macroeconomics indicator that were not favorable. That really impacted disposable incomes of our consumer, and of course, did not help us to achieve our volume target for that particular year. But then, despite that, we still achieved the volume growth, and we achieved that. The fact behind this is also the fact that in Q3 in 2023, we also introduced 3 brands to the existing 2 brands that we have in Champion Brewery. And that brand contributed about 20% of the revenue that we have achieved in 2023. And that is the fact behind the 3.3% growth that we achieved year on year. And of course, that's translated to our operating profit after tax that we achieved, 3%. And like he mentioned, 3% profit against all the odds when we compare ourselves with the what happened to our competitors in industry. You can see that they declined by 46%, but we achieved that 3%. And that also enabled us to contribute to the return on equities. It means that we are resilient as a company to be able to provide value to our shareholders. And when you look at our performance historically, in the last 5 years, we have been growing. We have been growing our revenue. From 2019, where we started with 7 billion revenue, and up to 2023, that revenue has doubled to 12.7 billion. And last 12 months to September 2024, we have also achieved a revenue of 18 billion. That is very, very significant improvement from what we see in 2023. And that translates for us also in terms of our gross profit. We have been able to maintain our gross profit. And you can see, even though we declined a bit in 2023, but we are returned, we are back. If you look at the last 12 months of 2024 into where we have 48% profit margin. And of course, our EBITDA, we have been maintaining double-digit EBITDA over the years. And of course, that translates to our bottom line, which also result into improvement. These are the historical facts that we have, and that tell us what can happen to Champion Brewery in future.